Chapter 61 Coveting Hutchison Whampoa's Candidate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ming naturally guessed the reason why Shen Bi invited him to meet at the Xiangjiang Jockey Club. Yang Ming knew that this Shen Bi was definitely not the kind of person who dealt with business matters. If that were the case, historically, he would not have sold Hutchison Whampoa to Li Jiaqing at a low price. After Shen Yi retired, we can learn that Shen Yi's family not only collected many valuable Swiss gold watches, but also a very special gift. It was what Li Jiaqing gave to him back. Then, it is said that Li Jiaqing gave Shen Bi a golden statue of the Huifeng Bank building, which is more than 1 meter high, based on the model of the Huifeng Bank building. If this was not because Shen Bi sold Hutchison Whampoa to Li Jiaqing at a cheap price, how could Li Jiaqing give such an expensive gift? From this point of view, this Shen Bi is not only selfish, but also a little greedy. Others are greedy for money. He is greedy for Swiss gold watches, or gold. Whether it is a Swiss gold watch or gold, it can actually be converted into money. From the boxes of Swiss gold watches that the other party collected, we can know that they were all gifts he received from others during his tenure at Huifeng Bank, especially during his tenure at Huifeng Bank. We can also know that he has been greedy for a lot of things. Yang Ming is most afraid that the other party is not greedy, which will make it more difficult for him to attack. Kyla, do you think Mr. Shen is willing to sell Hutchison International's shares to me? Yang Ming asked, getting closer to Kayla. Kayla said directly, not necessarily. Why? Mr. Yang, there are many people who are eyeing Hutchison Whampoa. I know that there are Chinese rich people such as Li Jiaqing and Bao Yugang, and even other British rich people, who are very coveting Hutchison Whampoa. I even heard that, now Hutchison Whampoa CEO Wei Li and his management team have been trying to negotiate with Huifeng Bank to obtain a controlling stake in Hutchison International. Wei Li. This Wei Li is no ordinary person. He is originally from Scotland and was born in Australia in 1932, which makes him 46 years old. Wei Li is still very legendary. He started out as a lumberjack in Australia, and later joined the Singapore company. After successfully saving several companies, he arrived in Hong Kong in 1964 for development. He even turned many companies in Hong Kong from losses to profits, and emerged in the Hong Kong business community. He was known as the company doctor. Which means that the company can be brought back to life. In 1975, after Huifeng Bank became the largest shareholder of Hutchison International, it invited Wei Li to serve as the CEO of Hutchison International. After Wei Li took office, Hutchison International made vigorous rectifications and reforms to stop losses and improve the group's management system. Even last year, Hutchison International and Whampoa Dockyard were merged into Hutchison Whampoa. When Li Jiaqing and others coveted Hutchison Whampoa, Hutchison Whampoa has now begun to get on the right track and start to make profits. In this case, Wei Li and his management team are certainly ambitious. They hope to take the shares of Hutchison International from Huifeng Bank and control Hutchison Whampoa. However, Huifeng Bank's policies have already determined that it is impossible to sell Hutchison Whampoa to British capital, so the Wei Li management team will naturally not be able to succeed. Kira said Wesley and his management team also wanted to capture Hutchison Whampoa. In Yang Ming's opinion, it is simply impossible. In any case, this Wei Li is like an outsider. He was invited by Huifeng Bank to temporarily manage Hutchison Whampoa. How could he become the new owner of Hutchison Whampoa? Wesley and his management team were the last to get Hutchison. It is absolutely impossible for Wei Li and his management team. Yang Ming said directly. Mr. Yang, you are right. Whoever Huifeng Bank sells Hutchison Whampoa's shares to will not be able to sell it to Wei Li and his management team. In my opinion, the one who has the best chance of getting Hutchison Whampoa now is either Li Jiaqing or Bao Yugang. Why? Yang Ming learned from Kyla. It turns out that Changchun Industrial and Huifeng Bank have cooperated a lot in recent years, and Li Jiaqing and Shen Bi are relatively close friends, not to mention Bao Yugang. Bao Yugang has cooperated with Huifeng Bank in the 1960s. In the 1970s, it even had a joint venture with Huifeng Bank. For example, Huifeng Bank has shares in Global Shipping, and Global Shipping also has shares in Huifeng Bank. Bao Yugang is also the major shareholder of Huifeng Bank. Historically, Shen Bi decided to sell Hutchison International's shares to Li Jiaqing, and Bao Yugang was a witness. At that time, Bao Yugang was also the major shareholder of Huifeng Bank. He had no decision-making power. No matter whether he opposed Shen Bi's sale of Hutchison International's shares to Li Jiaqing, he was of no use, because the decision-making power lies with Shen Yan. As for the other directors and even shareholders of Huifeng Bank, they are of no use. Mr. Yang, according to my understanding of Huifeng Bank, Hutchison Whampoa has started to get on the right track now, and it will definitely sell its Hutchison Whampoa shares to a third party as promised back then. Therefore, I think the sooner I get it, the better. Kira could think that way. That's naturally because Huifeng Bank is a financial bank, and credit is very important. Many people are watching now, since Huifeng Bank said back then that it would sell its shares when Hutchison Whampoa was on the right track and profitable. It shouldn't have to wait too long. Yang Ming knew this. Historically, on September 25, 1979, Shen Bi officially sold all the shares of Hutchison International to Li Jiaqing, thus allowing Li Jiaqing to rise to the sky. It is February 2, 1978, which seems still early. In fact, it's not very slow. Kira, I can tell you that when I was preparing to swallow up Wharf, I was also preparing to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. What? Kira almost screamed in surprise. Yang Ming is actually preparing to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. How is this possible? Speaking of it, it is actually easier to acquire Hutchison Whampoa than Wharf. Because Wharf's biggest rival is Jardine Matheson Land. If it had not been a sneak attack on Jardine Matheson Land, I am afraid it would not have been so easy when Jardine Matheson Land reacted. Take the Wharf. Historically, it took Bao Yugang many years to swallow up Wharf, and he even almost failed. Now Yang Ming is making a sneak attack, or he has enough liquidity to make a thunderous strike. As for Hutchison Whampoa, it's different. If Li Jiaqing persuades Shen Bi to sell Hutchison International's shares to him, then it will be won without any difficulty. It actually took a lot of time for Li Jiaqing to convince Shen Bi, including financial and material resources, emotional investment, and even. It is said that Li Jiaqing's wife Shuang Yueming met Shen Bi many times in private. Outsiders don't know what the specific talks between the two parties were. Now Yang Ming is different from Li Jiaqing. He doesn't have to be as humble as Li Jiaqing to please Shen Bi. I have asked people to secretly acquire 10% of Hutchison International's shares. 10% of stocks. Kayla was also a little surprised. She didn't expect that Yang Ming had secretly bought more than 20 million shares of Hutchison International without knowing it. Compared with the 90 million shares of Huifeng Bank, this is far behind. As long as Yang Ming gets these, coupled with Yang Ming's own reasons now, the scale of initiative will gradually move closer to him. If Shen Bian must sell Hutchison International's shares to Li Jiaqing, he must think twice before doing so. Please read it. Chapter 62 Shen Bi's Weakness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here on the second floor of the basement, even though the lights were on, it was still a little dim. Kira looked at Yang Ming with surprised eyes. She originally thought that in her opinion, Yang Ming had already thought very far, but she never expected that Yang Ming's far-reaching plan was completely beyond her imagination. I wonder how Yang Ming allowed him to continue to make profits in the stock market. And I don't know how Yang Ming made a sneak attack on Jardine Land and took the opportunity to swallow up the Wharf. Mr. Yang, it seems you are ready. What kind of person do you think Shen Yi is? Chairman. He should be very capable. It only took him 30 years to reach his current position as chairman from an ordinary employee of Huifeng Bank. Of course Kira recognized Shen Yi's ability, not only her, but also many people at Huifeng Bank recognized him very much. The most important thing is that the previous Huifeng chief executive, Sang Deshi, recognized Shen Bi, and Shen Bi became the chairman of Huifeng Bank. Then what's his weakness? Weakness? I don't know that. I don't have much contact with him. Shen Yi's weakness, not to mention Kayla, I'm afraid many Huifeng Bank's management don't know about it. Yang Ming knew that Shen Bi's weakness was greed. He is not directly greedy for money, but greed, covet valuable Swiss gold watches, even gold. Isn't he afraid that Shen Yan is greedy for this? In this era of Xiangjiang, Shen Bi is really not afraid of sitting in this position. In fact, he holds it openly and no one dares to say anything about him, because none of the white elites in Xiangjiang are not greedy. Kayla doesn't know, Yang Ming is very confident. Kayla, help me back. Kayla felt a little hot all over her body. He helped Yang Ming back to the wheelchair and sat down. The two of them sat there and drank half a glass of red wine. After half a glass of red wine was down, Kira's face looked a little red. For me, Wharf is just an appetizer, and Hutchison Whampoa is my highlight. Mr. Yang, what do you mean? Yes, even if you don't take the initiative to contact me today, I will contact you. Mr. Yang, tell me. It is now February 2nd, 1978, the 25th day of the 12th lunar month, and there are still a few days before the Spring Festival, February 7th. I am planning to formally show my cards to Mr. Shen on New Year's Eve. No matter whether he is sell me the shares of Hutchison International and I will swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. Mr. Yang, what do you mean? On February 6th, New Year's Eve, I will meet him on a cruise ship in Victoria Harbor. Mr. Yang, I understand. Good things don't come until the new year. Yang Ming is preparing to win Hutchison Whampoa for sure on New Year's Eve. The two chatted here for another 10 minutes, the two of them finished talking about business. Now Yang Ming is not afraid that Kayla will betray him. For Kayla, she now has two options, either to stay at Huifeng Bank and continue to be promoted, that is based on knowing Yang Ming, otherwise it will be difficult to continue to be promoted. There is another way, that is to leave Huifeng Bank and join Imperial Group, no matter what. He must make a contribution to Yang Ming, without dedication and merit. Of course there will be no gain. The two drank for another half hour. Yang Ming was rarely happy tonight. Kayla was a little drunk now. You can stay in the villa guest room and rest tonight. Kayla had been drinking and it was definitely not safe to drive back by herself. He can ask the bodyguard to drive the other person back. Yang Ming felt that the other party could stay here in the villa and return to the company tomorrow. Yeah. Kira agreed. Yang Ming called Azu and Zhong Chuhong outside. When Azu and Zhong Chuhong pushed Yang Ming to the third floor in the elevator, Kayla was arranged to stay in a guest room on the third floor. Naturally, the two girls, Azu, didn't know what they were doing when they were alone in the basement for so long. They were already guessing and muttering in their hearts. When Yang Ming was resting in the study, Azu quickly brought sobering soup so that Yang Ming could drink it without getting drunk and having a headache. There is no feeling when drinking red wine at the beginning, except for the sour and astringent taste. As time goes by, after the wine comes, the wine is even more powerful than those high-purity white wines. That's how Yang Ming feels now, and now the drunkenness is coming. When Zhong Chuhong was massaging Yang Ming's head, Azu said, "Master, drink this bowl of hangover soup first. You can also send a bowl to Miss Kira." "Yes, Master." Zhong Chuhong massaged Yang Ming's head there. These days, while getting along with Yang Ming, she felt more and more that Yang Ming was completely different from the rich second generation she imagined. "Zhong Chuhong, you have a good massage technique. Who taught you this?" "Azu and I taught ourselves." Half an hour had passed since Yang Ming drank the bowl of sobering soup. The drunkenness and pain caused by the drunkenness just now slowly began to disappear. You cannot take a shower after drinking alcohol at first. It may take several hours, and many doctors even recommend taking a shower after waking up the next day. Although the weather in Xiangjiang is not very hot now, it is indeed sticky at the end of the day, so you still need to take a shower. Yang Ming asked Zhu to put some water in the bathroom, and Yang Ming went to take a bath to wash off the dead skin and sticky sweat on his body, rinse again and change clothes. Azu and Zhong Chuhong helped him out and returned to the study in a wheelchair. "Boss, are you still recording tonight? Tomorrow is only Friday." Yang Ming started reading the newspaper and asked Zhong Chuhong to take notes. This time it took too long because of drinking with Kayla. By the time Zhong Chuhong finished recording, it was already past 1 o'clock in the night. "It's very late. You should go to bed first." Azu and Zhong Chuhong left. Yang Ming was sitting there. Put that information away. Early the next day, when Yang Ming woke up, he found that his head didn't hurt, but he was still a little sleepy because he went to bed very late. Yang Ming still got up, after Azu and Zhong Chuhong helped him wash his face and change into formal clothes. "When I took the elevator down from upstairs, I didn't see Kayla yet, so she probably hadn't woken up yet. Azu, go wake up Kira and have breakfast together. Yes, master. Peter, are you still going to the company today? Li Yufang and Yang Jirong were very excited last night, precisely because their son successfully acquired Wharf and honored their ancestors. I thought my son would have a rest today, but unexpectedly, he seemed to be even more diligent and busy than Yang Jirong before. Mommy, I do have to go to the company today. However, I won't have to go to the company tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. When Kayla comes down, Yang Ming asked, Kyla, did you sleep well last night? Sleep well, your place is more comfortable than a 5-star hotel. Yang Ming, Yang Jirong, Li Yufang, and Kayla sat down to have breakfast together. After breakfast, Kayla also went directly back to work at Huifeng Securities Company, because we are going the same way back. On the way, Kayla sat in Yang Ming's Rolls-Royce. Please read it. Chapter 63 100 million Hong Kong dollars. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ming and Kayla chatted for more than half an hour in the car. When I came to a street intersection in Central District, Kayla quietly got out of the car and drove away in her car. Yang Ming continued to ride to the Federal Building. When Yang Ming went to the Empire Group in a wheelchair from the underground parking lot of the Federal Building, as soon as I entered the company, I saw many employees busy. Yesterday, Yang Ming and the Imperial Group swallowed up Wharf, which directly shocked the entire British and Chinese capital in Hong Kong, and even shocked the country and abroad. At this time, even the employees of the Imperial Group looked at Yang Ming differently, just as some newspapers ridiculed Yang Ming. Although he is rich, he can only be a disabled person in a wheelchair. To a certain extent, the employees of the Imperial Group also have these thoughts. However, when Yang Ming swallowed up Wharf quietly, the employees of the Imperial Group were conquered by Yang Ming's personality charm. Yang Ming returned to the chairman's office. In the office, Lin Xiaoji still wanted to make Yang Ming a cup of coffee as usual. Lin Xiaoji, there is something for you to do now. Boss, tell me. Charter a luxury cruise ship. On New Year's Eve, I have something to discuss with Mr. Shen on Victoria Harbor. Charter a luxury cruise. Lin Xiaoji quickly wrote it down. Boss, do you have any other requirements? Mr. Shen and I had dinner on the cruise ship that night. The dinner must be rich in Western food. After finally asking about other requirements, Lin Xiaoji left to do this. It is already February 3, 1978, the 26th day of the 12th lunar month, which is only 3 days away from the 29th night of the 12th lunar month, New Year's Eve. However, when you have money, these are not problems. Yang Ming asked Jason and others to come over and distribute stock information around the world. Yang Ming has been staying in the chairman's office. 9:30 am. The 4 major exchanges in Hong Kong are trading normally. Among them, Wharf stocks, which were suspended for 1 day yesterday, are also trading normally today. On Wednesday, the highest share price of Wharf stock exceeded 80 yuan per share. Yesterday, Thursday, Yang Ming even raised Wharf's share price to 105 yuan per share. However, yesterday, Yang Ming officially announced the acquisition of 49% of the shares of Wharf Holdings. Which means that there is no sense of speculation in the Wharf stock market. Under this circumstance, Wharf stocks had just opened today, and many investors who had not made a move began to make crazy moves. It's like they collapsed. When the price was 80 yuan per share, I was unwilling to sell it. When the price was 105 yuan per share, they wanted to sell but couldn't. Now, from 80 yuan per share, it quickly fell to 75 yuan per share, and then to 70 yuan per share. Basically, it is more selling and buying less, and there are not many people taking the orders. Wharf stock price will definitely continue to fall. Yang Ming predicted that Wharf stock price would eventually fall back to around 10 shares. Besides, now Yang Ming is paying attention to Hutchison International stocks. Hutchison International and Whampoa Dockyard have merged into Hutchison Whampoa. However, Hutchison International stock has basically been floating around 12 or 3 yuan since Yang Ming started paying attention to it. There is no news about Hutchison Whampoa being acquired. It is difficult to speculate on this stock. Yang Ming knew last night that Hutchison International stock price today was still floating around 12 or 3 yuan per share. When it was almost lunchtime, Yang Ming did not stay in the Imperial Group. Instead, leave here with Chen Zhenhua, get on the Rolls-Royce and go directly back to the Repulse Bay Mid-Levels Villa. Li Yufang is at home now, and she was very happy to see Yang Ming come back for lunch. Peter, aren't you having lunch at the company? Mommy, I have something important to discuss with the housekeeper after dinner. Yang Ming went over to finish lunch. When I went up to the study room, now Ah Zhu and Zhong Chuhong are here, and the housekeeper Lin Dezhong is also here. Young Master Yang, is there anything you want me to do? After Yang Ming swallowed Wharf, Lin Dezhong knew that the eldest young master of the Yang family in front of him was indeed far more powerful than he imagined. He knew that working with Yang Ming now would certainly have a better future. Butler, there are 3 things for you to do now. First thing, you go to Huifeng Bank to withdraw 100 million Hong Kong dollars in cash. 100 million Hong Kong dollars in cash. What is this concept? Not only Lin Dezhong was shocked, but Zhu and Zhong Chuhong on the side were also shocked. Usually, the most cash Zhu and Zhong Chuhong see is a few thousand Hong Kong dollars, so how much is this 100 million Hong Kong dollars? Will it pile up into a mountain? The second thing is to use another 100 million in cash to buy Swiss gold watches. All of these Swiss gold watches must be genuine watches worth 1 million Hong Kong dollars. 100 million Hong Kong dollars to buy 100 Swiss gold watches. What is this concept? According to many Rolexes in Xiangjiang now, a few thousand yuan is already very good. What is the concept of this Swiss gold watch costing 1 million Hong Kong dollars? Not only Ah Zhu and Zhong Chuhong were surprised, but Lin Dezhong was also surprised. Mr. Yang, there are millions of Swiss gold watches. There should be Patek Philippe. However, buying hundreds of them at a time is probably a bit difficult in Xiangjiang. It doesn't cost millions, just hundreds of thousands of Hong Kong dollars. There must be no problem with the quality. Yes, Mr. Yang. Third, take another 100 million Hong Kong dollars to a gold shop and use the pure gold purchased for 100 million Hong Kong dollars to build a model of the Huifeng Bank building according to the Huifeng Bank building model. 100 million Hong Kong dollars to buy pure gold to build a statue model of Huifeng Bank. At this time, Azu and Zhong Chuhong no longer know what money is. Lin Dezhong was still shocked. According to the current global gold price, the international gold price has been soaring. The actual purchase of pure gold for 100 million Hong Kong dollars must be a lot. Mr. Yang, how about a total of 300 million Hong Kong dollars? Yes, it's 300 million Hong Kong dollars. This is the check I give you. Everything will be ready before New Year's Eve. Yang Ming took out 3 checks. Each one is a Huifeng Bank check worth 100 million Hong Kong dollars. Lin Dezhong had to do this quietly. When Lin Dezhong got the checks and said, "Boss, don't worry, I will definitely handle this matter." Lin Dezhong knew very well that everything Yang Ming asked him to do was actually testing him. If he is not capable enough, even if he continues to stay in the villa as a housekeeper, there will definitely be a new housekeeper to take his place. After Lin Dezhong left, Azu and Zhong Chuhong were still shocked and did not react. For ordinary Xiangjiang citizens, 1 or 2,000 Hong Kong dollars a month is now 300 million Hong Kong dollars for Yang Ming. It is impossible to say that Ah Zhu and Zhong Chuhong are not shocked. Master, can 100 million Hong Kong dollars not fit in this room? Azu asked curiously. It's not as much as you think. Please read it. Chapter 64. Everything is ready, all we need is the east wind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That night, Lin Dezhong came back from outside to report those 3 things to Yang Ming. After Yang Ming heard this, he was still very relieved about Lin Dezhong's work. In the afternoon, when Lin Dezhong went to the Huifeng Bank branch in person to withdraw 100 million in cash, the bank's general manager was shocked and speechless. When they learned that it was Mr. Yang from the Imperial Group who asked Lin Dezhong to come, they thought it was normal. Besides, spending 100 million Hong Kong dollars to buy 100 Swiss gold watches is basically unavailable in Hong Kong. Lin Dezhong asked Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, Piaget, Breguet and other famous watch stores in Hong Kong to return to Switzerland immediately to prepare for the goods. Before New Year's Eve, that batch of goods will definitely arrive in Xiangjiang by air. As for the third thing Yang Ming said, use 100 million Hong Kong dollars to buy pure gold to build it according to the Huifeng Bank building model. This matter took Lin Dezhong a lot of time. Finally, he found an old gold store to Carry out the transaction. After all, it is built according to the model scale of Huifeng Bank building, which takes a lot of time. Now that Lin Dezhong has arranged for this to be done, there is basically no problem. After Lin Dezhong reported, he left. Yang Ming was reading the newspaper there. Zhong Chuhong recorded there. The two women were very curious. Why did Yang Ming spend so much money to do this? Naturally, the two women couldn't understand. In their minds, Yang Ming not only made them admire him more and more, but also made them feel mysterious and unpredictable. Until about 11 o'clock in the evening, Zhong Chuhong followed Yang Ming's instructions and recorded all the stock information. Tomorrow is Saturday, and Yang Ming won't rest so soon. Azu, Zhong Chuhong, you go to bed first. Yes, master. After the two women left, Yang Ming had been sitting in a wheelchair in the study, looking out the window. His time, he knew, was coming soon. Saturday and Sunday, Yang Mingdu stayed at the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay. As for Lin Dezhong, he has been supervising according to the three things Yang Ming said. Sunday afternoon, Lin Dezhong is back. Among them, he and his bodyguard brought back a large box. Master Yang, the 100 million Hong Kong dollars are all in here. How much does this 100 million Hong Kong dollars weigh? Over 150 kg. What is the concept of 150 kilograms? About the same as a 300-pound fat man. In other words, if all these banknotes worth 100 million Hong Kong dollars were placed here, it will definitely be very dazzling in the study room. Butler, have you seen the money? Mr. Yang, I didn't look. I saw that it took Huifeng Bank 2 days to transfer it from their vault. Their general manager keeps asking you what you want to do with so much cash. According to the current prices in Xiangjiang, 100 million in cash is indeed very valuable. Like the Repulse Bay mid-level villa where Yang Ming lives now, you can buy 10 of them at once. Yang Ming opened it and saw that inside the box were stacks of 1,000 Hong Kong dollars. When he took it out, he found that not only were they new, but they were also wrapped with special gold threads. This pile is worth 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. Here is 100 million Hong Kong dollars. That is 1,000 wads. The staff of the Huifeng Bank vault and the staff of Huifeng Bank spent a long time calculating. Butler, why don't you take a look? Young Master Yang, I don't dare to look. Lin Dezhong really didn't dare to look. Yang Ming smiled. Look at another big box. Here are the Swiss watches sent from Swiss, including Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, Piaget, Audemars Piguet, Breguet, Blancpain and other world-famous watches. The most expensive piece is a Patek Philippe watch worth millions of Hong Kong dollars. The cheapest one is a Piaget watch that costs hundreds of thousands. This place is worth 100 million Hong Kong dollars, or even more. Yang Ming asked Lin Dezhong to buy too much at once and get a lot of discounts. Now inside this box is a box full of valuable Swiss watches. With any piece of land here, you can buy an ordinary small house in Xiangjiang. Butler, have you seen these? Have. Do you like famous watches? I like it, but I think it won't have as big an impact as the 100 million in cash. Lin Dezhong likes Swiss gold watches, but he can't say that he particularly likes them. To say that 100 million in cash and a Swiss gold watch now worth 100 million are placed here, it is indeed the cash that gives him a greater impact. Yang Ming knew that Lin Dezhong was probably not a person who liked luxury watches, or else he would never be like this. What happened to the golden statue of Huifeng Bank building? They're working on it day and night, and it should be ready tonight. It is not very difficult to talk about this golden statue. One is to first make a proportional mold, melt 2 or 3 tons of pure gold, add a certain proportion of other precious metals, and then put it into the mold. The last step is repeated polishing. If nothing else happens, the golden statue of the Huifeng Bank building can be completed tonight. However, the golden statue of Huifeng Bank is not small. It is 2 to 3 meters high, and it looks very huge. Everything is ready, all we need is the east wind. Butler, you have done a good job. Young Master Yang, I will do what you say. After letting Linda Bell out, Azu and Zhong Chuhong came in. Don't you want to see how much 100 million Hong Kong dollars is, all here? Azu and Zhong Chuhong were a little shocked. When Yang Ming opened the box and showed it to them, they were really shocked, as if it was all money. Yang Ming zipped up the box and asked, how do you feel? Master, that's a lot of money. Young Master Yang, I seem to have no idea about money. Zhong Chuhong said. Yang Ming smiled and said nothing. For these two women, the impact was really great. I just don't know if the impact on that person is that great. Have a night's rest. Early the next day, when Yang Ming got up, Azu and Zhong Chuhong served Yang Ming to wash up, wash his face and change clothes. Come down from upstairs. Yang Jirong and his wife have already gotten up. Today is February 6, 1978, the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, Lunar New Year's Eve. It is also one of the most important traditional festivals among the descendants of the Yan and Huang dynasties. At this time, many servants in the Yang family villa were busy welcoming New Year's Eve and the New Year. Peter, are you still going to work today? Li Yufang felt that her son had changed a lot after he woke up. Like a workaholic, I thought today was New Year's Eve and my son would definitely stay at home to rest. Out of nowhere, Yang Ming said, Mommy, I have to go to the company today. Moreover, I made an appointment with Mr. Shen to meet on the boat in Victoria Harbor tonight. Aren't you coming back for the reunion dinner? Li Yufang asked with some disappointment. Mommy, if you can wait, of course I will come back and have a reunion dinner with you. When Yang Ming finished breakfast, called Lin Dezhong over and whispered a few words to him, Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce and drove away from here with Chen Zhenhua towards the Federal Building. Please read it. Chapter 65 on the cruise ship in Victoria Harbor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Yang Ming appeared in the Imperial Group in a wheelchair as usual, the employees passing by all lowered their heads to say hello to Yang Ming. Chen Zhenhua pushed Yang Ming to the chairman's office. Soon, Lin Shouji came out and pushed Yang Ming in. Yang Ming was sitting on his boss's chair, looking into the distance. In addition to seeing the Huifeng Bank building, the Zeta Bank building, and even the Prince's building standing on Queen's Road, he also saw the Xiangjiang Industrial Group building in Lijiaqing. At this time, I wonder what Lijiaqing is doing. Is he playing golf with others on the golf course, or is he in the chairman's office of Changchun Industrial Group? Boss, as you said, I have booked a luxury cruise ship in advance. Lin Shouji said after delivering the brewed coffee. According to the plan, of course there can't be anything wrong with that. Yang Ming nodded. Today is New Year's Eve, but today is Monday, and global stock markets are still trading normally. After Yang Ming distributed stock information around the world, he has been staying in the chairman's office in the morning, noon, after lunch with Lin Shouji and others, afternoon. Yang Ming stayed in the Imperial Group until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Yang Ming, Chen Zhenhua and others left here by car and went directly to a pier in Central. The luxury cruise ship Lin Shouji booked in advance was parked there. When Yang Ming got off the car, Chen Zhenhua helped Yang Ming get into the wheelchair. Yang Ming and them boarded this luxury cruise ship. Except for some staff, there is no one else on this luxury cruise ship. When Yang Ming was on the third floor deck of the luxury cruise ship, looking into the distance, his heart was filled with excitement. This is his time. Not surprisingly, his time will come tomorrow. Boss, your things have been delivered. In fact, it was those two boxes. A big box contained Hong Kong dollar cash worth 1,000 yuan each, containing 100 million yuan in cash. In addition, there is also a box, which contains Swiss gold watches, each of which is worth a lot of money. It is also worth 100 million Hong Kong dollars. Lin Dezhong asked his bodyguard to personally escort him here. Now all move here. Yang Ming nodded. 7 p.m. Night has arrived in Xiangjiang. Yang Ming sat there and drank half a glass of lemonade. Chen Zhenhua came over again and said, Boss, Miss Kayla and Mr. Shen are already here. Since Friday, when Shen Bi learned that Yang Ming was going to meet him on the cruise ship in Victoria Harbor on New Year's Eve, Shen Bi had been very excited and had been waiting for today to arrive, even if he knew that Li Jiaqing and his wife would definitely visit him at his home tonight. Compared to Li Jiaqing and his wife, Yang Ming is more valuable at this time. After learning that he was going to meet Yang Ming tonight, Shen Bi had been making preparations. Shen Bi and Kayla drove to the dock. The two of them boarded the cruise ship. Soon, on the third floor deck, I saw Yang Ming sitting in a wheelchair. Mr. Yang, the chairman and I are here. Yang Ming looked at Kira tonight and found that Kira was wearing a burgundy dress, which looked particularly flattering on Kira's figure. Miss Kira, you look really good tonight. Thank you Mr. Yang for your compliment. Naturally, Kira also dressed up deliberately. Yang Ming looked at Shen Bi and saw that Shen Bi was wearing formal clothes, a suit, trousers, and even a tie. "Mr. Shen, hello, nice to see you again." "Hello, Mr. Yang, I'm glad to see you again." The two shook hands with each other. "The last time we met at the Hong Kong Jockey Club in Happy Valley. During this meeting, Yang Ming had already swallowed up Wharf, the most important subsidiary of Jardine Matheson. Since then, Yang Ming has become an important Chinese investor in Hong Kong that cannot be ignored. Tonight is New Year's Eve, which is the most important day among traditional Chinese festivals. Mr. Yang, I'm glad to be invited here." Shen Bi also said, "Victoria Harbour is beautiful at night. Night is coming, the lights of the high-rise buildings on both sides of Victoria Harbour have already been turned on. In addition, there are also cruise ships on Victoria Harbour. The lights emitted by the freighters are really beautiful. Boom. Bang bang bang." In addition, you can also see fireworks blooming in the night sky of Victoria Harbour from time to time. When Yang Ming clapped his hands, the waiter on the cruise ship served a rich dinner that had been prepared in advance. These are all Western food. In addition, there is also Lafite red wine. "Cheers." Yang Ming, Kayla, and Shen Bi clinked glasses with each other and drank half a glass of red wine each. The three of them chatted while eating. It's really comfortable to enjoy Western food under this beautiful night view. If it weren't for special circumstances, Yang Ming really wanted to bring his parents, even Azu and Zhong Chuhong, to enjoy it together. Shen Bi always wanted to find a topic to talk to Yang Ming. Although Yang Ming invited him here this time, in fact, he really wanted to discuss stock market cooperation with Yang Ming. Yang Ming can make a lot of profits every day in the global stock market. How could Shen Bi not be greedy? Huifeng Bank's current profit from one year to the next has not reached 1 billion Hong Kong dollars. Yang Ming's profit on the U.S. stock market that night exceeded 1 billion Hong Kong dollars. Cheers. Yang Ming, Kyla, and Shen Bi drank another drink. Shen Bi originally thought that business was more important, but Mr. Yang didn't seem to be in a hurry at all. "Mr. Shen, did you hear that I had someone withdraw 100 million Hong Kong dollars in cash on Friday?" Huifeng Bank, as the Central Bank of Hong Kong, in addition to being a commercial bank, actually also issues banknotes for Hong Kong. Moreover, branches of Huifeng Bank do not necessarily have 100 million in cash. They need to get it from the vault of Huifeng Bank headquarters. In the 1960s, when a banking crisis broke out in Hong Kong, Huifeng Bank once brought truckloads of cash to major banks to rescue Chinese-owned banks that almost collapsed due to bank runs. It is precisely because of that Huifeng Bank took the opportunity to swallow up the largest Chinese-owned bank in Hong Kong, Hangzhou Bank. When Shen Bi heard what Yang Ming said, he said, "Mr. Yang, are you really the one who asked people to withdraw so much cash? That if it were in the 1960s, this would definitely shock Hong Kong and even trigger a bank-run crisis. Now in the late 1970s, Hong Kong's banking and financial aspects need to be much improved. Moreover, 100 million Hong Kong dollars today is not worth as much as it was in the 1960s. Given enough time, Huifeng Bank can really prepare this money." This time Yang Ming asked Lin Dezhong to quietly obtain it from Huifeng Bank. It did not make the news and the outside public did not know. "That money is right here." Yang Ming pointed to a large box not far away and said. Kayla and Shen Bi looked over. Although they hadn't seen the cash inside yet, they were both surprised by the big box. 100 million in cash actually appeared here. What happened to Yang Ming? Did you want to show off his wealth in front of him? Shen Yi felt strange. Please read it. Happy New Year. Chapter 66 Deal on the Ship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huifeng Bank is known as the Central Bank of Hong Kong and plays a very important role in the financial mobilization of Hong Kong. As the current chairman of Huifeng Bank, Shen Bi is known as Huifeng Taipan and the God of Wealth in Hong Kong. Why is he known as the God of Wealth in Hong Kong? It is precisely because Huifeng Bank is already the largest commercial bank in Hong Kong and controls most of the deposits in Hong Kong, whether it is Hong Kong tycoons such as Li Jiaqing, Bao Yugang, or other British tycoons. They all seem a little humble when facing Shen Bi. That's because when they need funds to borrow money from Huifeng Bank, they must get Shen Bi's consent. Because Yang Ming himself had obtained huge funds through the stock market, he did not need to ask Shen Yi to borrow money. Looking at Shen Yi was completely different from the way other wealthy people looked at Shen Yi. Even then, Yang Ming's current funds are of course far behind Huifeng Bank's huge deposits. "Mr. Shen, let's eat first. You will know in a minute. Dinner on the luxury cruise ship is very rich." Until about 8 o'clock in the evening, this rich dinner ended. After those dinner leftovers were removed by the waiters on the cruise ship, Yang Ming, Kyla, and Shen Bi are the only ones left here. As for Chen Zhenhua and others, they were watching from a distance. "Mr. Shen, I invite you here this time to discuss cooperation." "Mr. Yang, me too." Shen Bi came to cooperate with Yang Ming in the stock market. Yang Ming came here for the 90 million shares of Hutchison International held by Huifeng Bank. Yang Ming smiled and said, "Mr. Shen, take a look at these first." When Yang Ming opened the box, when stacks of $1,000 Hong Kong dollar bills were revealed inside, Shen Bi was almost shocked. He had worked at Huifeng Bank for so many years, and the money was not his, and he had seen it many times in the vault. It soon calmed down again. On the contrary, Kira still looked shocked. "Mr. Yang, is this 100 million in cash?" "Not bad. And here it is." Yang Ming asked Shen Bi to open the second box. When the priceless and sparkling Swiss gold watches inside appeared in front of Shen Bi, besides showing a greedy look for a moment, Shen Bi was really shocked. Shen Yi's biggest interest is collecting famous watches, especially Swiss watches. He prefers them. Over the years, he held an important position in Huifeng Bank and really collected a lot of Swiss watches. He didn't know how many there were in front of him. "Mr. Yang, what is this?" "These are all famous watches from various Swiss brands, with a total value of over 100 million Hong Kong dollars. The total value exceeds 100 million Hong Kong dollars. Putting aside Kira, Shen Bi was really shocked. He really felt how wealthy Yang Ming was. This Swiss luxury watch worth hundreds of millions of Hong Kong dollars is actually sitting here like that. Compared with the 100 million in cash, Shen Bi is really shocked now. "Mr. Yang, what is this?" "I want to make a deal with you." Trade. Yang Ming's shot was worth 200 million Hong Kong dollars. "I'm afraid this transaction is not simple." Shen Bi woke up immediately and was no longer the same as before. For him to be able to reach the position of Huifeng Bank's top class, his concentration is naturally not simple. Otherwise, it would be impossible to reach this position. Yang Ming still knew Shen Bi too well from the information in his previous life. Before Yang Ming could bring it up, Shen Bi said, "Mr. Yang, I'm afraid I can't do it." Yang Ming looked into the distance and said calmly, "Mr. Shen, you can definitely do it, and it will be easy for you." Shen Bi looked at Kira. Kayla shook her head and said she didn't know. Yang Ming continued, "On Thursday, I had already swallowed up Wharf. However, when I acquired Wharf, I had already planned to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa." Hutchison Whampoa? At this time, Shen Bi was completely awake. Yang Ming now took out so much cash and so many luxury watches. Obviously it was for the 90 million Hutchison International stock held by Huifeng Bank. During this period, I have had people quietly buy about 12% of Hutchison International's shares. What? Yang Ming actually asked someone to buy 12% of Hutchison International's shares. Shen Bi was really shocked. "Mr. Yang, you..." "Yes, I am making two preparations. One is to ask you to sell me 90 million shares of Hutchison International. Of course I can easily take over Hutchison Whampoa. The other is, if you are not willing to sell Hutchison International's shares, give it to me, then I have to be prepared too." Yang Ming said it very easily. Shen Bi had heard clearly that Yang Ming must swallow up Hutchison Whampoa, just like he swallowed up Wharf. "Mr. Shen, if you agree, these two things will be yours. Moreover, no one else knows except you and me, and Miss Kayla." Yang Ming looked at Shen Bi with a smile. Shen Yi still looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. Yang Ming knew what Shen Bi was thinking. Historically, Shen Bi eventually sold Hutchison International shares to Li Jiaqing. Li Jiaqing must have paid a heavy price behind his back. Just as the news said in history, Li Jiaqing gave Shen Bi the valuable pure gold statue of Huifeng Bank building. Shen Bi did not leave it at the headquarters of Huifeng Bank, but moved it back to his hometown in country Y. In addition, the two people must have other secret transactions in private. It would be difficult for Li Jiaqing to be as generous as Yang Ming now. Shen Yan was thinking there. he hasn't thought clearly about who to sell Hutchison International's shares to. Before that, whether it was Li Jiaqing or Bao Yugang, they had a chance to win Hutchison Whampoa. Except for these two people, other Chinese and British investors basically did not take up the shares of Hutchison International, and naturally they had no chance to take over Hutchison Whampoa. The generous yet mysterious Yang Ming in front of him made Shen Bi a little embarrassed. Before that, among these Chinese investors, Li Jiaqing was the one he was most optimistic about. Now that the stock god Yang Ming suddenly broke out, he began to pay attention to the differences in the other party. What made Shen Bi even more unexpected was that Yang Ming had already targeted Hutchison Whampoa. This young man is not simple. Mr. Yang, please give me time to think about it. Shen Bi did not refuse directly, nor did he agree directly, whether it was for the cooperation between Huifeng Bank and Yang Ming, or for the cash and Swiss gold watches in front of him. He would not refuse rashly. He couldn't agree directly. He is an old fox. In his mind, he was thinking about the large box of 100 million yuan in cash in front of him, and the valuable Swiss gold watch worth over 100 million yuan. These are all he wants. Mr. Shen, I think you will think it over carefully when you go back tonight. Yang Ming also smiled. The two sides soon returned to the same situation as before. Now Shen Bi has not mentioned cooperation with Yang Ming again. Obviously, Shen Bi also guessed that selling Hutchison International's shares to Yang Ming might be the basis for cooperation between them. Otherwise, it would be impossible to continue the negotiation. Please read it. Chapter 67, a gift that Shen Bi can't refuse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 22:30 in the evening, Yang Ming, Kyla, Shen Yi and others got off the luxury cruise ship. Shen Bi got into Kayla's car, and when he left in the car, Yang Ming was also preparing to go back. As for the large box of cash and the box of Swiss gold watches, Yang Ming asked people to move them to the car. Sitting in the car, Shen Bi was still thinking about the 100 million in cash on the luxury cruise ship and those valuable Swiss gold watches. Chairman, are we sending you back now? Kira asked. Let's go back. Kira drove to Victoria Peak Villa. When Shen Yi came back here, it's past 11 o'clock in the evening. Shen Bi got out of the car, and Kayla went back first. Shen Yi had just entered, and his wife had already come out. Sir, you're back. Shen Bi just nodded and was about to go back to the study. Mr. Li and Mrs. Li came tonight and gave them gifts. Mr. Li and Mrs. Li are none other than Li Jiaqing and Zhuang Yuming. They specially came to visit Shen Bi tonight to deepen their relationship with Shen Bi and his wife in order to gain more support from Shen Bi. However, it is a pity that when Li Jiaqing and his wife arrived, Shen Bi and Kira had already left. Mrs. Shen didn't even know where Shen Bi was going to socialize tonight. So much so that Li Jiaqing and his wife sat here for a long time and did not see Shen Bi coming back, so they had to go back first. When they arrived, Li Jiaqing and his wife gave gifts to Shen Yi and his wife. Like Shen Yi, Li Jiaqing and his wife gave a Patek Philippe watch and a diamond necklace to Mrs. Shen. Mrs. Shen still likes that diamond necklace. In addition, the housekeepers here, Li Jiaqing and his wife all gave gifts. As a result, Mrs. Shen and the housekeeper felt that Mr. Li and his wife were really good at life. If it were the past, Shen Bi would certainly be interested. Now that I think about the large box of cash worth over 100 million yuan and a large box of Swiss gold watches worth over 100 million yuan on that luxury cruise ship, the gifts given by Li Jiaqing and his wife were nothing. Li Jiaqing returned to the study. Mrs. Shen took out the Patek Philippe that Li Jiaqing gave to her husband. She knew that her husband had always been a lover of watches, and she thought that her husband would be very happy to see the Swiss gold watch given by Li Jiaqing. Without thinking, Shen Bi just picked it up, looked at it, and put it aside. Sir, don't you like the Patek Philippe that Mr. Li gave you? Mrs. Shen asked strangely. Mr. Li and his wife came here. Did they say anything to you? I didn't say anything. I just said that when you have time, I'll invite you to play golf together. Shen Yi nodded. After letting the lady go out first, Shen Bi walked around the study. Thinking of the Swiss gold watch worth over 100 million, he felt itchy. Those are all famous watches he likes. 0 o'clock in the morning, Shen Bi is still in the study. Suddenly the housekeeper outside ran over and said, Mr. Shen, someone is delivering something outside. Is it that late now? Who else is sending something? Shen Yi felt strange. When he goes outside, soon, a van was seen. getting off the van, it was Lin Dezhong, the housekeeper of the Repulse Bay Villa. "Hello, Mr. Shen, my name is Lin Dezhong. I am the housekeeper of the Yang family villa in Repulse Bay. I am sending you the third gift on behalf of Mr. Yang. The Yang family's butler." That would be Yang Ming. Shen Bi didn't expect that there was actually a third gift. The workers in the van carefully moved the contents out. The thing was wrapped in a large piece of red cloth, and it was not clear what it was from the outside. Seeing how cautious they were worried that it was something ordinary. "Steward Lin, what is this?" Shen Bi asked. "Mr. Shen, my young master Yang said that you will be shocked when you see it. When the workers moved that thing inside, because I don't know what it is yet, first, place it directly in the lobby of the villa." When Shen Bi went there and lifted up the red cloth and took a look inside, he was really shocked. This is a solid gold statue. It looked like gold all over. Of course, such valuable things cannot be placed here. "Move to the study for me." When the workers followed Shen Bi's request, they were first sent to the elevator and then moved to the study room on the second floor. Many of these people moved out with sweat. The workers didn't know what was inside and thought it was some kind of statue. Shen Yi looks very generous now. Each worker who moved the house asked the housekeeper to give him 100 Hong Kong dollars as a tip. "Mr. Shen, I wonder if you are satisfied with this gift. Do you want to move it away?" Now that he has asked people to move to the study room on the second floor, how could he ask people to move it out again? This is absolutely impossible. "Steward Lin, go back and tell Mr. Yang that I am very satisfied with the gift he gave." Lin Dezhong did not stay any longer. Leave at Linda Bell. Mrs. Shen hurriedly came over and asked, "Sir, what on earth is this? Open it and see for yourself." When Mrs. Shen opened the red cloth, she quickly saw the golden model statue of the Huifeng Bank building, and she was immediately shocked. At first, she thought it was brass or something. When she saw it clearly, she asked in surprise, "Sir, is this made of gold?" "If I'm not wrong, this is indeed made of pure gold. The value of gold is about 100 million Hong Kong dollars. A solid gold statue worth 100 Hong Kong dollars million." Mrs. Shen was so excited that she almost wanted to scream. The diamond necklace given to her by Mr. Li and his wife made her happy for a long time. So now facing this huge golden statue, she really couldn't describe how excited she was. Shen Bi touched the statue of Huifeng Bank building, which was made of pure gold. "I am also very shocked now. This is actually another 100 million Hong Kong dollars. This Mr. Yang's move is really too generous, compared with the 100 million in cash and the 100 million Swiss gold watch." The statue of the Huifeng Bank building made of 100 million pure gold shocked him even more. The deal proposed by Yang Ming. At this moment, Shen Bi knew that he could no longer refuse. As for Li Jiacheng and Bao Yugang, if he and the other party brought it up like that and he wanted these gifts, then the two of them would definitely give them to him. Now Mr. Yang is different. He has already sent it directly. "Sir, who gave this to me?" Mrs. Shen still couldn't believe it. "Mr. Yang, the chairman of the Imperial Group who just swallowed Wharf last week." "Sir, you must have met Mr. Yang tonight." "That's right. You go back and rest first. I have to think carefully about what to do with this pure gold statue." Shen Yi stayed alone in the study. Look at this statue from time to time. Then he walked around in the study room again. He wants this golden statue. This was a deal he couldn't refuse. When he decided to trade with Yang Ming, it meant selling all the 90 million Hutchison International shares in Huifeng Bank's hands to Yang Ming. He still had to think carefully about how to sell it to Yang Ming. Please read it. Chapter 68 Company Dr. Wei Li. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ming took the car back to the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay. The time has come to 23:43 in the evening. Yang Jirong and Li Yufang have been waiting for their son to come back. When the Rolls-Royce driven by Chen Zhenhua stopped, the couple and Aizhu walked over. "Daddy, Mommy, I'm back." Chen Zhenhua carefully helped Yang Ming get into the wheelchair. What Yang Ming didn't expect was that Yang Jirong and Li Yufang had been waiting for him to come back for the reunion dinner. "Daddy, Mommy, let's go eat first." On the luxury cruise ship in Victoria Harbor, Yang Ming, Shen Bi, and Kayla had already eaten and were not hungry now. When he is eating here with his parents now, it is his first New Year's Eve in this world. you can't see the beautiful night view of Victoria Harbour and the fireworks here. However, you can see the fireworks near Repulse Bay and Deepwater Bay, and the spring festival atmosphere is getting stronger. I wish Mommy and Daddy good health. Yang Ming picked up the glass of red wine in front of him and spoke to Yang Jirong and his wife. Zhong Chuhong was not seen. Zhong Chuhong should have returned to Chungking Mansion to celebrate the new year with his parents. Azu is still here. Azu, you guys should go have dinner too. When letting Azu and other servants go to eat, Yang Ming looked at Yang Jirong and his wife and said, Daddy, Mommy, if nothing else happens, there will be news that shocks the world tomorrow. Shock the world? Peter, does this news have something to do with you? Yang Jirong asked. Yes, Daddy. Around 0:30 in the evening, the housekeeper Lin Dezhong came back by car and immediately went to the study to see Yang Ming. Young Master Yang, Mr. Shen has already accepted that gift. In other words, Shen Bi accepted the solid gold statue of Huifeng Bank building given to him by Yang Ming. What does that mean? The fact that he wants to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa is 100% happening. Butler, thank you for your hard work. You should go eat first and have a good rest. Young Master Yang, I should. Lin Dezhong left. Yang Ming was still sitting in the wheelchair, looking outside. Zhong Chuhong is not here now, only Ah Zhu is here. Yang Ming found that Zhong Chuhong was not here to record things for him, and he was really not used to it. I had just drank, so I shouldn't have taken a shower so quickly. However, Yang Ming still took a bath first to wake himself up, go back to the study, while reading the newspaper. Record stock information from around the world. It was around 3 o'clock. In the morning before Yang Ming stopped, seeing Azu standing aside who was still yawning, Yang Ming said, Azu, you go to bed first. Yes, Master. Have a night's rest. Early the next day, Yang Ming was still used to waking up. I went to bed too late last night and was still a little sleepy. Today he is going to the Imperial Group. When Yang Ming got up, he washed his face and changed clothes with the help of Azu. I came downstairs and walked in the yard for half an hour. After having breakfast with Yang Jirong and his wife, Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce, and Chen Zhenhua and others drove Yang Ming to the Federal Building. The Empire Group came to the Federal Building. Yang Ming found that almost all the employees in the company came to work. Seeing the arrival of the boss Yang Ming, they all greeted Yang Ming. Boss, Happy Chinese New Year. Yang Ming returned to the chairman's office. Lin Shoji brought over the freshly brewed coffee, and Yang Ming took a sip and felt quite awake. After distributing the global stock information to those responsible, Yang Ming said, Lin Shoji, I have something for you to do. Boss, tell me. In a moment, I want to see Mr. Wei Li, the CEO of Hutchison Whampoa. Please ask him to come out in my name. Yes, boss. Yang Ming did not stay any longer. When Yang Ming got into the wheelchair, he and Chen Zhenhua and others took a car to a coffee shop near Hutchison Building. Yang Ming is going to meet the CEO Wei Li here. If nothing else, he is about to swallow Hutchison Whampoa. Now the CEO of Hutchison Whampoa is Wei Li, and he wants to meet him. Wei Li is a professional manager appointed by Huifeng Bank. However, Wei Li and his management team already have ambitions to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. Historically, when Li Jiaqing acquired Hutchison Whampoa, he had great conflicts with Wei Li and his management team from the beginning. In the end, Wei Li and his management team were forced to leave by Li Jiaqing. Yang Ming and Li Jiaqing do things differently. In Li Jiaqing's view, Wei Li could not be used by him, so he drove away such careerists. In Yang Ming's view, if Wei Li and his team are willing to work for him, then there is nothing wrong with Wei Li and his management team continuing to stay at Hutchison Whampoa. If you don't want to, then as in history, Wei Li will leave Hutchison Whampoa on his own. Now, when Yang Ming was 100% sure of swallowing up Hutchison Whampoa, it was better to meet with Wei Li in advance. This can be regarded as a mental preparation for Wei Li in advance. When Yang Ming was in a wheelchair, Chen Zhenhua pushed Yang Ming to the private room of the high-end coffee shop. Lin Shoji stepped on high heels and came to the president's office of Hutchison Building. Lin Shoji waited outside for a while, and Wei Li's secretary invited her in. Ms. Lin, I wonder if you have any business with me. Lin Shoji had just announced that she was the female secretary of Mr. Yang, the chairman of the Imperial Group, and Wei Li already knew Lin Shoji's identity. the Imperial Group seemed to explode. The Imperial Group swallowed up Wharf with a huge amount of money in a short period of time, which still shocked Wei Li. Mr. Wei Li, I am here to see you on behalf of our chairman, Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang is at a nearby coffee shop at this time, and he wants to meet you. Mr. Yang, chairman of Imperial Group, wants to see him. Wei Li was also a little surprised. Before this, the two sides had no interaction. However, last week, when Yang Ming swallowed up Wharf, his photo had already made the news, a young man in a wheelchair. Even then, Wei Li was shocked by the young man. Wei Li knew that Mr. Yang was waiting for him there, so naturally he couldn't refuse. Ms. Lin, wait a minute, I'll go over and see Mr. Yang. In the president's office, Wei Li picked up the landline phone and made a few calls. After explaining to the female secretary, he followed him out. After taking the elevator down with Lin Shouji, we went to the nearby coffee shop. When the two of them arrived at the coffee shop, the waitress here took them to a separate private room. When that private room opens, Wei Li first saw the young man sitting in the wheelchair, who was looking out the window. Boss, Mr. Wei Li is here. Lin Shouji walked over and said. Yang Ming turned around and saw a white man in his 50s wearing a suit. The man in front of him is Wei Li, who is known as the company's doctor. Historically, Wei Li was not only related to Hutchison Whampoa, but also had a lot to do with another acquisition. However, Wei Li ultimately failed because his identity was always just a professional manager. It is actually very difficult to change from a professional manager to a master. Please read it. Chapter 69. Either surrender or get out. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wei Li is ambitious. However, he can be regarded as a company doctor and is definitely a very capable professional manager. Wei Li walked over quickly, stretched out his hand to greet Yang Ming in a wheelchair, and said, Hello, Mr. Yang. Nice to meet you. Hello, Mr. Wei Li, please sit down. When Wei Li sat down, Wei Li and Lin Shouji all ordered coffee. Yang Ming signaled Chen Zhenhua to come outside the door. No waiter outside could come in without Yang Ming's permission. Mr. Yang, I don't know why you invited me here. Mr. Wei Li, the reason for inviting you here this time is related to Hutchison Whampoa. I hope you will be mentally prepared. Hutchison Whampoa. Wei Li was a little strange. He never imagined that Yang Ming was actually planning to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. Mr. Yang, tell me. Last night, I had an agreement with Mr. Shen, the senior manager of Huifeng Bank, to acquire the 90 million ordinary shares of Hutchison International held by Huifeng Bank. Yang Ming actually wants to acquire Hutchison International shares from Huifeng Bank. What does that mean? Wei Li naturally knew it. This time, he reacted. In addition, I have previously asked people to acquire 12% of Hutchison International's shares, plus Huifeng Bank's 33.65% shares. There is no problem in acquiring Hutchison Whampoa. If it were anyone else, Wei Li might not believe it. Yang Ming just spent billions to swallow up Wharf last week. Now that Yang Ming wants to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa, it is normal. Wei Li was indeed a little surprised. At the beginning, he was hired by Huifeng Bank as the CEO of Hutchison International, and he only played the role of a professional manager. However, over time, he and the management team also managed Hutchison International as their own company. In addition to a good annual salary, Wei Li and his management team also received a certain commission from the original agreement with Huifeng Bank that Hutchison International was on the right track from losses to profits. However, as time passed, Wei Li and others became ambitious, and he did not want others to get involved in Hutchison International. Although he had talked with Huifeng Bank, how could Huifeng Bank sell Hutchison International to Wei Li and his management team? Now that Hutchison International and Whampoa Dockyard have merged into Hutchison Whampoa, Hutchison Whampoa has gradually got on the right track and started to make profits. Wei Li guessed that according to the original promise of Huifeng Bank, Hutchison Whampoa would definitely Whampoa is handed over to new owners. After thinking about it, Wei Li thought that Shen Bi and Huifeng Bank would hand over Hutchison Whampoa to other wealthy people or consortiums, especially the rich Chinese Li Jiacheng or Bao Yugang. Who would have thought that it was the young man in front of him, Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, congratulations. Wei Li knew that was all he could say. Yang Ming seemed to have seen through him and said seriously, Mr. Wei Li, I know that you and your management team have other ideas about Hutchison Whampoa. I can tell you that even if Shen Bi did not sell Hutchison Whampoa to me, I won't sell it to you, because in their view, you and your management team are just professional managers they invited back to help take care of it. If Wei Li understands his position, no matter how ambitious he is, he will never have those thoughts that he shouldn't have. In addition, Yang Ming knew very well that Huifeng Bank had already determined that Hutchison International would be handed over to Chinese capital and would not be handed over to other British capital or other white consortiums. Mr. Wei Li, I recognize your ability. When the transaction between me and Huifeng Bank is completed, if you are willing to continue to stay at Hutchison Whampoa, your positions will not change. Moreover, your views on Hutchison Whampoa I won't do anything about rectification or reform. So, you can think about it carefully. Yes, Mr. Yang. At this time, Huifeng Bank had not announced the news to the outside world, so Yang Ming was able to come over in advance to meet with him to discuss these matters, which was enough to give Wei Li face. Historically, Wei Li was very dissatisfied with Li Jiaqing's acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa, except that in his opinion, Li Jiaqing himself did not have the strength to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. If Shen Yan hadn't sold Hutchison Whampoa to Li Jiaqing at a cheap price, Li Jiaqing would not have been able to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. On the other hand, it was impossible for Li Jiaqing to keep Wei Li and his management team from the beginning. Therefore, it is doomed that the two sides have deep conflicts. Yang Ming is different now. Yang Ming and Li Jiaqing are even more different. When Yang Ming swallowed the Wharf, Wei Li could already see that Yang Ming was far more powerful. Then he imagined, Yang Ming was able to persuade Shen Bi to sell all Huifeng Bank's Hutchison International shares to Yang Ming, which is enough to show how powerful this young man is. Now Yang Ming has also said that if Wei Li and his team are willing to stay, they will not change their positions and interfere with their management of Hutchison Whampoa. From these points of view, Yang Ming deserves his respect. Wei Li could look down on Li Jiaqing, but he would never dare to look down on Yang Ming, who was now in a wheelchair. Mysterious young man in a wheelchair. First it quietly swallowed up Wharf, and now it swallows up Hutchison Whampoa. This is not something ordinary people can do. After Yang Ming shook hands with Wei Li went back first. Wei Li left the cafe's private room with deep thoughts. Yang Ming is still sitting here. Boss, do you want Mr. Wei Li to stay in the company? Lin Xiaoji asked. He's still very capable. If he wants to stay, of course that's fine. If he doesn't want to, I won't stop him if he wants to leave. Although Yang Ming's Imperial Group already has more than 200 employees. However, the abilities of these people are definitely not up to the level of professional managers. For people like Lin Xiaoji and Tang Shilian, if they were asked to sit in the position of general manager of Hutchison Whampoa, they would definitely not be able to do well. Boss, what if Wei Li and his management team still have ambitions? Ambition? After I took control of Hutchison Whampoa, it's useless for him to have ambitions. He is just a high-level wage earner working for the boss. When Yang Ming came out of the cafe in a wheelchair, looking at the Hutchison building not far away, I still felt a little excited. Get in that Rolls-Royce. Boss, where are we going? Go back to Repulse Bay Villa. Chen Zhenhua went back to the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay. At this time, Shen Bi didn't sleep well all night in his study. While thinking about the piles of cash on the cruise ship with Yang Ming, I also thought about the piles of valuable Swiss gold watches. There is also the huge solid gold statue of Huifeng Bank building in the study room. When he could not refuse the pure gold statue sent by Lin Dezhong, he knew that the transaction between him and Yang Ming had been carried out on that luxury cruise ship. It was impossible to say that Shen Bi was not tempted. However, he still held back. When he returned home and saw the pure gold statue that Lin Dezhong sent for Yang Ming, he could no longer refuse. The 3 gifts from Yang Ming were enough to make him unable to resist such temptation. Please read it. Chapter 7630 million Hong Kong dollars swallowed up Hutchison International. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the gleaming solid gold statue of Huifeng Bank building in the study room, Shen Bi made a difficult choice. It was decided to sell all 90 million ordinary shares of Hutchison International held by Huifeng Bank to Yang Ming of Imperial Group. Between public and private affairs, Shen Bi knew that he would make such a choice after comprehensive consideration. Immediately. Pick up the landline phone in the study and call Kayla. Kira wasn't up yet. Suddenly I heard the phone ringing in the living room. Chairman, it's me. Kyla, please go see Mr. Yang immediately on behalf of me and Huifeng Bank. The sooner the better. When it comes to Hutchison Whampoa, the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong, Shen Bi knows very well that before a deal is concluded, the fewer people know about it, the better. Now he immediately sent Kira to inform Yang Ming. Chairman, I understand. After Kayla hung up the phone, get up immediately, wash up, change clothes, drive out of the high-end apartment, and go to the Repulse Bay Mid-Levels Villa. When Kira came to the Yang family in the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay, just after getting off the car, the housekeeper Lin Dejong came out to greet him. Miss Kayla, my boss has returned to the company to work. Back to work at the company? When Kayla was just considering whether to stay in the Yang family or rush to the Empire Group immediately, she saw the Rolls-Royce coming back. It wasn't Yang Ming who was back. Young Master Yang is back. Rolls-Royce stopped, Yang Ming got out of the car and quickly sat in a wheelchair. Seeing Kyla coming here, Yang Ming had already guessed something. Mr. Yang, let's talk upstairs. The two of them went upstairs to the study room. Mr. Yang, congratulations. The chairman has just decided to sell Huifeng Bank's Hutchison International shares to you. However, in order to prevent other unexpected situations, he asked me to inform you to immediately send someone to have secret talks with Huifeng Bank. Is there such a thing? In history, the most anxious one was of course Li Jiaqing. In order to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa, Li Jiaqing had been secretly talking to Huifeng Bank and Shen Bi, and even Wei Li didn't know about it. It is completely different now than it was in history. On the one hand, Yang Ming swallowed up the Wharf in advance. Historically, it was Bao Yugang who swallowed up Wharf. This means that Bao Yugang also hopes to win Hutchison Whampoa. However, when Shen Bi decided to sell Hutchison International shares to Yang Ming, Bao Yugang naturally had no hope. In order to avoid other situations, Shen Bi negotiated and signed the contract as soon as possible. Yang Ming was not worried at all. Huifeng Bank now has Shen Bi making the decision, and other directors or shareholders have no right to interfere. However, since Shen Bi said that, Yang Ming would not give up such a good opportunity, he immediately picked up the landline phone in the study room and called Lin Xiuji immediately. Lin Xiuji was also very shocked after receiving the call. It quickly occurred to me that this was just the final legal step to acquire Hutchison Whampoa. This time, the Imperial Group sent Lin Xiuji, Tang Shilian, and many other members of the finance department to the Huifeng Bank headquarters for secret conversations. Huifeng Bank. Yang Ming knew that Shen Bi was probably just showing off. After Yang Ming hung up the phone. Kira, you have made a great contribution this time. On the surface, Kayla is busy with Chairman Shen Bi, but in fact, she has always been helping Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, I am also looking for a way for myself. Kira knows, if she does not stay at Huifeng Bank in the future, she will definitely join the Imperial Group. The Imperial Group welcomes you at any time. 10:30 am that day, Huifeng Bank headquarters building. In addition to Shen Bi and Huifeng Bank Managing Director Bao Zhan, there was also a confidant of Shen Bi. Here they discussed the transaction with Lin Xiuji, secretary to the chairman of the board sent by Empire Group, and Tang Shilian, financial director of Empire Group. At first, John Bao was shocked when he learned that Shen Bi was going to sell all Hutchison International shares to Imperial Group. In his opinion, the new owner of Hutchison Whampoa will undoubtedly be Li Jiaqing or Bao Yugang, especially Bao Yugang. He thinks he has the greatest hope. However, after the cooperation between Huifeng Bank and Changchun Industrial last year, Shen Bi praised Li Jiaqing again, which made John Bao think that Li Jiaqing had greater hope. Who would have thought that Yang Ming, the chairman of the Imperial Group, would suddenly appear. After swallowing Wharf first, he quickly reached a cooperation with Shen Bi in private. Shen Bi said that selling Hutchison Whampoa shares to Mr. Yang would be better for Huifeng Bank's future. John Bao would not object, as long as Shen Bi sells Hutchison International shares to Chinese capital. Yang Ming's Imperial Group will be Chinese capital, and there will be no violation of the rules set by the previous chairman of Huifeng Bank. Now the two sides are talking secretly in a small conference room. There were many secret conversations, among them, including the sale of all 90 million ordinary shares of Hutchison International held by Huifeng Bank to Imperial Group. As for the buy and sell price, trade at half of Hutchison International's recent share price now, Hutchison International stock price fluctuated around 134 yuan and is currently trading at 7 yuan per share. According to 7 yuan per share, 90 million shares, which is equivalent to 630 million Hong Kong dollars, at that time, Huifeng Bank bought it for 150 million Hong Kong dollars. Now it is equivalent to several times the profit. For the Imperial Group, it is really like a pie. Why did Shen Bi and Huifeng Bank make such concessions? First, historically, when Li Jiaqing was not strong enough to swallow up Hutchison International, he actually only asked to pay $24 million and pay the rest in installments, and also purchased Hutchison International shares at this price. This is almost equivalent to using more than $20 million to swallow up more than $1 billion in assets. Now Yang Ming's Empire Group has directly paid a one-time payment of 630 million Hong Kong dollars, which is much stronger than Li Jiaqing. Second, what moved Shen Bi was seeing the 3 gifts given to him by Yang Ming last night. Especially the solid gold statue of Huifeng Bank building. If the additional expenditure of 300 million Hong Kong dollars is included, the price Yang Ming paid for acquiring Hutchison International shares from Huifeng Bank would be much higher. Yang Ming has already thought about this clearly. He was not like Li Jiaqing. Li Jiaqing and his wife have been dating Shen Bi over the years and have invested a lot of affection and time. In fact, this can be considered one of the costs. Yang Ming didn't have that much time and emotion to devote to Shen Bi, so he spent 300 million Hong Kong dollars, which was considered an additional expenditure, and the most important point, that is, Shen Bi knew about Yang Ming's profits in the stock market, and he needed the consent of Yang Ming and the Imperial Group before Huifeng Bank could cooperate with the Imperial Group. Otherwise, if he sells the Hutchison International shares in Huifeng Bank to Li Jiaqing or Bao Yugang, he knows that Yang Ming will definitely not be able to cooperate with Huifeng Bank again. At this point, Shen Bi is also considering the long-term future of Huifeng Bank. The two sides talked secretly in the conference room for more than 2 hours, until 12:40 noon, after Lin Xiaoji reached the Hutchison International stock purchase and sale contract on behalf of Empire Group Chairman Yang Ming and Huifeng Bank Chairman Shen Bi. It meant that from now on, Hutchison Whampoa belonged to the Empire Group. Please read it.